Hey guys, what's happening? It's time for the trailer crawler, and yuck, everything this week is just not that exciting, at least to me. There's a few things here that might be interesting to a few select people, but just overall not that terribly exciting. First up, and I suppose the most significant release of this week, is WarioWare Do-It-Yourself for the Nintendo DS. Personally, I feel like I'm kind of done with the WarioWare series, even though I enjoyed the Nintendo Wii version quite a bit. The reason being is that just this stuff is so simple that there's really nowhere it can go, and once you've played it, it's kind of been done. It's a series of mini games that take about 3 to 10 seconds each, and it usually involves doing something extremely simple. Alright, I know there's a novelty this time in that it's on the handheld system and you can program your own mini games. I can only imagine that it's a little tedious getting exactly what you want when you're trying to draw artistic assets on such a tiny screen though. Supposedly, according to those who have played the Japanese version, it is kind of fun, but the novelty wears thin very soon unless you absolutely crave to create your own stuff until the end of time. There's only going to be a small amount of people who will genuinely enjoy this. Second is Samurai Showdown Sen for the Xbox 360. Now, SNK has made some great games, and I enjoyed the hell out of the Samurai Showdown series back when it was getting those Neo Geo releases, and it was in 2D, but holy crap does this one just look awful and boring. Even if 3D fighting is your thing, there's just no way this will ever be any better than, say, just take your favorite Soul Calibur game of choice. Just look at how slow and crappy this game moves and how cheap it all seems. It's no mystery that SNK has been hurting for cash and on their last legs when just even their last humongous title, King of Fighters 12, came out heavily incomplete last year, and their biggest selling title is a pedo adventure on the DS. Give this one a pass. Third is Prison Break the Conspiracy on the 360 and PS3, and I guess this has been released on the PC as well. Wow, who would have thought that this game based on a Fox television show would ever be made? By this point alone, I am pretty sure that we all already know that this game won't be worth it, although watching the videos, the concept does seem kind of strong. Control your character as he deals with prison life and eventually make a name for yourself, and I can only imagine that they will be breaking out of this prison. The fight mechanics from the video here just looks horrible. The Prison Break movies are often very interesting, and I could totally get behind this if, say, like Rockstar was creating this title, but I really doubt anyone will really care about this. Fourth up is Sakura Wars, So Long My Love for the PlayStation 2 and Nintendo Wii. And just because I'm a jackass, it's Sakura, not Sakura. Who would have thought that this Sega series would ever see release here? Apparently this is the 5th main title in Japan, which has become moderately well known as a title that mixes RPG gaming and a dating sim. The game looks to be heavy in its Japanese presentation in regards to the game design. I hate to put down this series since I know a lot of people have been dying for it for a very long time, but it just does not seem that interesting to me at all. I'm watching these fight scenes, and when the camera cuts away to show anime sequences every time you decide to do something in battle, you just know the game is going for something that's more along the lines of style over substance. I'm sure even suggesting this is going to freak out some people, but understand this. Unless you already know with a deep passion within your soul that this game will be amazing, you can probably safely give this one a pass. Here it is. Fifth up is Dead or Alive Paradise for the PSP, aka Tecmo apparently deciding they need a cash-in by shitting out a worthless title. It's the handheld version of Extreme Beach Volleyball. I remember back in the day when this series first dropped on the original Xbox, some of the gaming mags tried to claim that there was something sophisticated to be had here that the simple-minded folk just weren't seeing. That simple one-button volleyball with chicks in bikinis was somehow highbrow in some weird, bizarre, like, Playboy sort of way. Yeah, right, and to both accounts with that. I love how this game just fully embraces its pervy nature by having, like, picture-taking minigames and so on. Yup, this game is going to be terrible. Sixth is The Secret Files Tunguska for the Nintendo Wii and DS. And yes, I realize I may have mispronounced that. But wow, some 2006 PC adventure game is hitting the Wii. The game is centered around the Tunguska event and explores its cause. The main protagonist is Nina, a Russian girl living in Berlin, whose role is to uncover the mystery behind the disappearance of her father, who was involved in a secret scientific project concerning the Tunguska region in Siberia. At times, the role of the player-controlled character switches to Max Gruber, who is a German scientist and Nina's father's colleague. I don't really have a great feeling about this one. The game only got average scores when it dropped on the PC, and that's keeping in mind the fact that PC adventure gamers love just about everything they can get their hands on because they're pretty much strapped for something to play. I guess if this is you, a adventure game nut, you might want to give this one a look, but don't be expecting something that's universally interesting. 7th is Mana Era Chronicles for the PSP. This game is being developed by Gung Ho Works, although this is a company that typically services pre-existing MMORPGs rather than actually making them. They've had their, I guess, influence, or at least they've put their services toward well-liked games such as Ragnarok Online and Shin Megami Tensei Imagine, but keep in mind that they were not the actual developers, and really they haven't developed much that's actually worth talking about. Due to the wonderful marketing by Axis, there is virtually no information out there regarding what this game is actually about, just that it's, kind of generic PSP RPG. It really does not look that exciting to me, though. I like the fact that the battles are in real time, but they do look slow and dull. We would probably know more about this title, and there would probably be an already existing fanbase if it were any good, so tread carefully. 8th is Monster Rancher DS for the Nintendo DS. Yes, this game has pretty much degraded itself into being a nothing franchise now. Generate monsters by making horrible looking doodles onto the touchscreen or by playing a tune into the microphone, or I guess you could say something into the microphone. I don't know about you, but this just looks wretched. 9th is, again, for the Nintendo DS. A string of serial murders from about 19 years ago have started up, in quotations, again. The player takes on the role of Jay, an agent of the FBI and sole survivor of the serial murders 19 years ago. This is actually developed by Sing, who also did Hotel Dusk and Trace Memory, which are mystery adventure games. They never really appealed to me that much, although I do know that they have their following, so if you were into those, you might want to check this one out. Finally, 10th, we have Shepherd's Crossing for the PSP, for when Farmville is just too simplistic and doesn't cut it. Apparently, there's a DS and PS2 version of this game as well, but no one even cares enough about any of them to begin talking about them. There's like no reviews anywhere for these games. None of them. Is this going to be some sort of hidden gem that deals with farming? It just might be, but I kind of doubt it. Yeah, what a crappy week. There's a few games I initially had my eye on when they were announced long ago, but there's just really nothing now that interests me at all. WarioWare is going to be one of those Nintendo games that everyone pretends to love until they conveniently pretend to forget about it. Sort of like Nintendogs. No, none of you are getting your dignity back after pretending like that was like the most brilliant game to ever exist, because it was not. I shouldn't even have to begin making fun of this game because you should all realize how ridiculous that was. But anyway, I guess I'll pay attention to how Sakura Wars does, which is absolutely not pronounced Sakura. And yes, that is a pet peeve, and I should go kill myself if I don't get stoned to death by all the Nintendo nuts raving about how WarioWare do-it-yourself is going to be the greatest thing that ever was. See you next week, and tell all of your friends about this channel as I rip on more games that I hate next time. And maybe something good will be there. I don't know. We shall see.